Hi, Data Ben here. Today we're going to look at the geography rich data type, which is a very useful data type to obtain details of a city or a country, and you can get a lot of information from them. If you click on the data tab, and then you'll see the option for geography. So let's put in some city names first. So I'm going to type Milan here, which is just text at the moment, but if I click on data and geography while I've highlighted the cell A5, a little question mark will appear because it might not know which Milan I want to choose. So there's actually a Milan in Michigan in the US, and of course there is Milan, the city of Milan in Italy, which is the one I want to choose. So I'm going to click select on this, and then the little map icon will appear next to the city to show that it's successfully been updated. I'm now going to type in a few more cities. You can click a icon next to one of the city names to have a pop-up card appear. So you can see here I've clicked Milan, and you can actually scroll down and see lots of information about Milan, such as the population, the area, the longitude and latitude coordinates, and much more information. You'll see that when I highlight over some of this data that the little icon appears with a plus. So if I actually click this icon, so let's say I want the population and I click the plus, it will actually appear next to the data. And then if I actually click in there, I can actually see that it's come up with A5.population. However, I'm wanting the image for this cell, so the actual image of the city. So if I delete that, I can actually type the formula in directly by doing equals and then choose the city name or type in A5, then dot, and then IntelliSense will show some options that we can have here. And since I'm wanting the image, I'm going to click on the image option and press the return key. I'm then going to drag this down, and you'll see that it actually shows the image for each city here. Now the images are very small, so I'm actually going to highlight all of the rows, right click and do row height, and change this to 45. And that just increases the size of some of the images a little bit here. Next, I want to turn this data range into a table so that it's easier to manage. So if I highlight the range and then click on Insert, Table, my table has headers, OK, and that will convert the range into a table. I can then untick the banded rows, and then I'm happy with the table format that we see here. Next, I want to fill in the rest of the data here, so country, population and so on. So I'm going to type equals here, and then click on the city in A5, cell A5, and then it's going to, IntelliSense will appear with the options. So I want country/region here, and then press return, and it will automatically copy down. You'll also note that there's some extra symbols here for country. That's because country itself is also a rich data type. So it actually has even more information about the country than it does about cities. So we could actually add any of this information too about the country itself. For now we'll continue with cities, but it's worth noting that as you drill down, or drill up in this case, up to country, that you might actually be able to get even more data from your rich data types. Next we want the population, so I'll do equals, click on the city, choose population and return, then the leaders of these cities, and then we have leaders here, and then finally the longitude and latitude. So the same again, equals city, longitude, equals city, latitude. And that's all of the data completed, all based upon the information in the cells in the first column. So that's the geography rich data type, and you can explore this at your leisure and try and add more information, say from the country. There's so much useful information that's actually powered from Microsoft's Bing search platform here. You can even see things like life expectancy, the full population of the regions, electric power consumption, and all sorts of interesting data on each country. And you could do things like compare and contrast to other similar countries, and perhaps even do some research based upon this data as well. As a bonus, I'm now going to show you how to add a map to this data. So the map is going to be based upon the Bing maps. The first thing we need to do is we actually want to add the name of the city. Now you might ask, why do that? We already have the name of the city here as a rich data type. Well, this is a rich data type. It's actually got all of this information in it when you click on it. I actually just want the city name, so we're just going to add equals here, city, and then name, and you'll see it just comes back with a string without the map icon on it. So I'm going to call this city name, and then we're going to base a new map based upon this information in cells D to E. So I'm going to highlight that data and do insert, and then you want to find the Bing maps icon. It will look a little bit different from Mac to PC, but you'll have the option for the Bing map, and then click on that Bing map. When it first opens up, it takes a minute to open, and if there's a pop-up asking for sample data, you can close this. And at least on my PC, it actually opens very large, so I'm just going to remove or downsize the size of this map to begin with. Once your map is in place, you'll see that it's actually not added the data to the map yet. Sometimes it doesn't do this, so instead you want to go to the filter icon here in the top right of the map, and then click select data, and then click the little box here, and then I'm going to highlight the city name and the population, and then OK. And it successfully found the locations, at least most of the locations. Sometimes you'll see here, unfortunately it's not found London, and this tends to be a problem just with the Bing maps itself. When we refresh, it should capture this information. So what I want to do is change some of the editing for this a little bit. So I'm going to go into the filters option here, and then change the color of the circles to red, and then go back from settings here, and then I'm just going to check that the select data is still working okay, which it is. And yeah, unfortunately, so for Bing, you do have to be aware it's a little bit buggy, so for some reason it cannot find London at the moment, but it will likely refresh and add that at some point. So you can see here the size of the circles is the size of the population. So New York has a much bigger population, so it's a bigger circle than Barcelona, Paris and Milan. And that's how to add some data to the Bing maps here. So that's how to use the geography rich data types. Enjoy!